in a move characteristic of a movement in absolute desperation. A new global leftist alliance forming in opposition to the US and other Western powers have gestured that they, of all possible candidates, want South African President Cyril Ramaphosa to become the face of their resistance against the global right. This comes after Cyril Ramaphosa recently featured as one of the keynote speakers at one of the biggest left-wing summits ever hosted, with the audience of mostly elderly attendees representing the old left somehow being tremendously impressed by his little speech. And last week, the first Global Progressive Mobilization Summit was hosted by the Spanish government in the city of Barcelona under the theme of uniting the world's progressive leftist forces. The summit was attended by several heads of state, including the host Pedro Sanchez of Spain, who has served as Prime Minister of this country since 2018. Other heads of state who also attended the summit upon invitation included the presidents of the Latin American nations of Mexico, Colombia, Brazil, Uruguay, and of course also the South African President Cyril Ramaphosa. The United States itself was also represented, but by two high-ranking officials from the Democrat Party, namely US Senator Chris Murphy, along with the most radically left-leaning politician in the United States, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. But what exactly did the head of state from South Africa do at a meeting dominated by left-wing politicians from the Latin world and Europe? And why was his presence so important to this Spanish hosts? Stay tuned, because in today's video I will expose how South Africa is increasingly being seen as the icon or a potential leader for a new global left-wing alliance, mostly driven by Latin American or other Latin countries. The first international summit on global progressive mobilization was just held in Spain, organized by the Spanish government for the purposes of countering what it views as the global rise or global shift of the so-called far right, where they view the politics of the day or the Overton window to be shifting too much to what they consider the far right, under which, of course, it even includes the Trump administration in the White House itself. This new international bloc aims to provide, and I quote, a necessary alternative to conservative and far-right forces, aiming to make progressive solutions visible and credible, proving they are the key to humanity's prosperity. End quote. The host of the event, the Spanish Prime Minister, as previously mentioned, Pedro Sanchez, has been a long-standing critic not only of Trump, but also of so-called far-right movements throughout Europe, gaining more and more in elections and becoming the biggest party in many European countries, accusing Trump of undermining global democracy and destabilizing the entire international order, and also saying that the rise of the so-called far-right nationalist parties in Europe was an effect of the so-called Trump effect. The summit, which was hosted by Sanchez, was attended by a total of about 6,000 leftist politicians and activists from all over the world, and also emphasized what it views as the need for green climate policies. You know, watermelon policies, green on the outside and red on the inside. Along with this, open border policies, and of course, one of the most important issues for the global left, the so-called LGBTQ+ agenda. It must, of course, always be kept in mind that when these people speak of the far right, they actually include everyone who does not fully embrace and promote the aforementioned agenda. As Rob Herself recently pointed out, in the current climate, even he, as a free market libertarian, would be classified as far right, even though maybe 20 years ago he would have still been considered on the left.
And when I look at my values, and I always thought of myself as center right, always. Okay, even when the Overton window was kind of in the middle. Now it's shifted so far left. I'm probably seen as hard right.
In other words, the summit ultimately pushes for a hard left globalist agenda, as is evident from the invitees who attended. The purpose of this is to form a bloc against countries such as the United States and its more conservative allies such as Poland and Argentina. During this summit, Ramaphosa used the opportunity to promote what he describes as his global progressive revival, which he believes is the need to counter any and all forces that oppose corrupt governments such as his own, even going as far as to condemn the United States itself.
The United Nations has now become a toothless organization because those who are members of the Security Council are the ones who continue to violate all the laws and the rights.
Ramaphosa also reiterated his government's commitment to the ICJ genocide case it has launched against Israel, echoing Nelson Mandela's claim that black South Africans will never be free or considered truly free until the Palestinians are free as well. Ramaphosa also highlighted that a global progressive revival is needed to forge a better future for him and his allies abroad. Radical left-wing governments that support policies such as the government expropriation of private property without compensation in South Africa. Ramaphosa's contribution was widely embraced by these global leftists as one of the highlights of the entire summit, with the president of by far the largest nation present here, Lula da Silva, even encouraging Ramaphosa to take the lead in the fight for the global left at the up-and-coming G20 summit.
And we're going to fight, Ramaphosa, for you to attend the G20 in the United States, because the American president does not have the right to remove you from the G20, because he is not the owner of the G20. All right, so you better get yourself prepared to go to the United States and then just stand there at the entrance waiting patiently to get inside the G20. Thank you very much.
What an absolutely terrifying reality that a summit supposed to re-energize and reinvigorate the international left wing calls from world leaders such as da Silva emerged for a failed statesman and an absolute failure at basically everything he has done, such as Ramaphosa, to take the lead and become the new face of the global left. Because this is a man under whose watch the South African economy has been devastated, and hundreds of thousands and even of his own political supporters have been condemned to poverty and strife under his watch. Measured by sheer economic data alone, he, Ramaphosa, is already by far the worst president in South African history. But what makes this even worse is that he is a man who has openly violated even the most basic property rights and human rights in South Africa, and who has defended members of his own parliament chanting for genocide to be committed in his own country. The hard reality is that if Ramaphosa is expected to lead this global leftist resistance by rising up in resistance to the global G20 summit scheduled to take place in Miami, Florida in November this year, then this entire movement really is doomed to fail from the start. Placing the burden of leading their resistance against the G20 under the presidency of the resistance on a 73-year-old leader whose 8 years in office have been characterized by failure after failure after failure is nothing short of suicidal for this new global left-wing alliance. And if global leaders representing leading left-wing governments across the world at a summit like this are seriously setting up someone like Ramaphosa, someone as incompetent as Ramaphosa, as the standard bearer for the global left, it really makes one think or doubt regarding the direction and credibility of the global left as a whole and this movement that was founded by Pedro Sanchez. In fact, it would be safe to say that with Ramaphosa at the helm, they are really doomed from the start. The devastating and self-destructive first step of the Global Progressive Mobilization Summit is amplified by their leader Ramaphosa's track record in office. We highlighted this in a recent video on Ramaphosa's failed presidency, which you can view by clicking on this link appearing on your screen right here, explaining why Ramaphosa is the worst president in South African history by all measurable metrics. And please do consider supporting our work by becoming a paying member of the Willem Petzer Group. Only with your investment are we able to make videos of this quality every single day. Simply follow the easy steps on the banner. Goodbye and God bless.